What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome to Grizz 901. I am your host, Daniel Greer, and Nate will be joining me very shortly. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Tonight might get a little spicy because we're coming off of a 122-110 loss to the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets, we just played Sunday and drummed them. It was really not a game at all. They bounced back a little bit closer to the very end, but now the shoe's on the other foot, and the Denver Nuggets just gave it to the Grizzlies in a wire-to-wire win. They ended up winning the 122-110, and honestly, Grizz Twitter is losing their minds. There is a current meltdown, but I'm going to have y'all a little bit of relax, but I want to go through a little bit of what is happening and what is going on. So we're going to bring Nate in here as we always do, but we'll get a full breakdown of the game. We're going to have a fun, little very tricky Grizz trivia in the second segment. And in that third segment, we're going to do the look ahead as we always do. But I don't want to leave Nate hanging too long. Let's get to the show. Yo, Nate, what up? What we got here? What is that? I don't even know what that is. Is that tequila? You're on mute if you're talking. Oh, we haven't heard a word.
This is mezcal because we needed the hard stuff tonight.
We need it. All right, so the Grizzlies lose 122-110. Obviously, it was as King Meek says, lackluster game. Completely no excuses. I don't get it. But tonight was one of those games that if it was me, you just got to take it and you get rid of it. But that's not what we're going to do. We're going to talk through it. We're going to discuss some things. So go ahead, off the top rope. What you got, Nate?
Well, off the top rope, I'm going to flip the tables on you because I didn't get to watch the first half. I didn't watch the first half at all. So I want you to tell me what happened in the first half other than 27 fouls in 24 minutes, which I'm not sad I missed.
Yeah, so I had a question. How did you feel about the second half? Like personally, just overall, very broad.
I want to get there. I want to save that. That's gonna be a fun conversation.
So you didn't enjoy it. You thought it was a bad played overall, in your opinion, just very minimum, very just bad played?
Felt like we were gonna have a lot to talk about.
Well, just imagine that times 10. The first half was disgusting. Bane obviously had 2 points at half. Nobody could hit a shot. The Grizzlies looked like they turned the ball over so many times. I don't have the breakdown from quarter by quarter, half by half, but it was absolutely ridiculous. And it is, it's, and I said the same thing on my show this morning, driving the line. A lot of people were asking me about the Grizzlies, and the talk was based around Nikola Jokic, and I said, I don't feel comfortable. And one of our best guys, who is one of the best cappers, said, dude, I have it. I think that the game is going to play out in your favor. Hit the -4 now before it moves because I don't think the Joker's playing. And I said, all right, I'll trust you. No bias involved. That's on you. He doesn't even live here. He doesn't even follow the Grizzlies, but he follows NBA, right? And so I followed him. And honestly, like tonight was just one of those nights that I didn't feel good about because it is hard to beat a team back-to-back.
I felt bad about it even when the news about the Joker came out because it's super hard to beat a team twice in a row.
Yeah.
So let's get that out of the way.
Okay.
It's hard to beat an NBA team twice in a row.
Yeah.
Let's get something else out of the way. Taylor does need to shoot the ball better.
I don't understand. Like, he's over there and like he's screaming at the referees, but like, why doesn't he shoot it more? Like, if he's going to yell at the referees that much, he should shoot the ball more.
He needs to let it fly.
Let it fly. Let that MFer fly.
All right, now let's talk about in reality for a second because fair is fair. What I'm about to talk about is a lack of discipline. And a lack of discipline can come back on the coach.
100%. 100%.
Brandon Clark deciding that to try and end the Nuggets run, he's going to shoot a corner three.
Oh, my God.
Is a lack of discipline. Also, Brandon Clark at times seems like he might be the dumbest basketball player to ever step on a court. I'm telling you, dude, anytime we play a team with movement, like this is not a joke. Okay, that was obviously a joke. I love Brandon, genuinely good guy, but watch when we play teams with movement. Brandon's lost on defense every time.
Most of the time. Yep.
I mean, and it's bad.
Yep.
So genuinely, I love Brandon. I'm not like out on Brandon at all. But when he decided to shoot that corner three, I was like, well, let's trade him for a bag of chips. I was so mad when he took that shot. And then 2 possessions later, we decided to launch a three from 37 feet to try and end the run when we're over 7 from the floor, Mr. Desmond Bane. That stuff does happen too often on this team. That does fall back on Taylor Jenkins. And it comes back to some of the stuff we said before, where it's like, why is this team not ready to play when things aren't going their way? When things are going their way, this team cooks.
Exactly.
When things aren't going their way, they can't really seem to get it together. They never really seem to find a plan. That falls on Taylor Jenkins. These are also grown-ass men playing basketball. Like, what are we talking about, dude? Like, they got punked. Jaren went to the rack like a freaking kitten with the game on the line against Dario Saric. Like, I'm sorry. It's like, what are you afraid you're going to hurt Dario's feelings if you take to the rack hard? Like, Jaren can't be that bad. He can't be that soft. And then, by the way, Desmond Bane, all you need him to do is not have the worst game of his life.
Right.
I would not be surprised if that is the single worst game Desmond Bane has had at any level of basketball he's ever played.
I'm going to pause you for 1 second. Quick Grizz trivia, a little prelude, as they would say.
Yay, my favorite.
He's been back for 3 games now. What is he shooting from 3-point? You can give me a percentage, or you can give me 12%. He's shooting higher than that. He's shooting 18.2%.
Oh, good. Great. He beat me by 6%.
He's 2 of 16. 2 of 16. And I get it. Like, that's ridiculous. But like, if you look at the numbers, like, they just, like, this normally doesn't happen. And I agree with most you're saying, and I don't want to cut you off, but I agree with the being soft and not going literally to the rim with some passion, a little bit of they've lost that. And because honestly, John Morant gives them that. Bane and Jaren are not those type of players. They are when they have their leader, but when they're without him, a lot of times they miss that. They really do.
Well, and you don't have anybody on this team that can settle in, right? Unless it's Jaren. Jaren's the only one who's shown that ability, and clearly he wasn't there for it tonight. Like, whatever Jaren was smoking, let me have some, because I would love to just flow through a game like that. But that was, brutal from both those guys. Outside of Santi, no one showed up tonight.
Hey, Wayno.
I'm gonna talk you off the ledge, because all the stuff that we're talking about is not who this team is. I know people are like, this team is mediocre and this team's trash and we can't beat the Nets. Brother, we have not had our team for like a full. We haven't had our team for a game yet, like with legitimate rotation players. Now Vince is out again. Bye-bye, Vince. Also, Edie's out for a couple of weeks. Bye-bye, Zach. Hopefully, Jaw's back soon, but he's still out for a couple of weeks. I don't know what happened to Marcus Smart. I'm sure his kid gave him a cold. But it's ridiculous on that. Now, if this team can get healthy, and there's no reason to believe they can't other than we might be cursed, which I'll get to that in a minute too. I actually have a thought on that. We'll call it serious for the moment. But once this team is healthy, there's nothing to say they can't be amazing, because we've seen them be amazing. They were great against this team the other night, right? Now, I just get tired of seeing people like, we came on here and we 2 or 3 times this year let Taylor kind of have it. Been like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is your job. Like, the team's not ready to play. That's your job. The team's on its heels. That's your job. You want guys to get in a rhythm? Play them more than 2 minutes at a time. Why are we blaming Taylor Jenkins when all Desmond Bane has to do is literally not have the worst game of his life, and you probably win that game in spite of him still?
And he still played in 29 minutes.
And Jaren was terrible. Like, Jaren's box score doesn't look terrible. Jaren played terrible. BC was awful. Pippen was awful until the fourth quarter. Like, Wells was fine, but that's it. The only guy who played well for you tonight was Santi, who played amazing and kept you in that game. But, like, dude, Desmond Bane is over 7 from the floor and then launches it from 38 feet when the Nuggets are up 17. And now he's over 8 from the floor and the Nuggets go up 20. Like, what else do you want from Taylor Jenkins? I'm sorry. Like, yes. Does he make mistakes? Of course. Does the team like a discipline fall on him? Yes. He can't not make those decisions in real time. Right. At some point, you have to not be stupid.
I agree. And the lack of discipline thing is like, I as a coach, like what I look at is the team. Are they making a bunch of bad decisions? Are they being stupid? I don't think I don't think they're necessarily being stupid, other than they're not getting to the shot that they should get to when they're struggling. The problem is they're still getting to the front of the rim. The Nuggets literally sagged off of them because this offense is kind of a cut in and kick out, right? And when they went to that zone offense, when they were literally allowing everybody to shoot, that's what they have you doing. They want you to shoot the ball, and the Nuggets showed that. And so at that point, when they're shooting well and you're not shooting well, you're never going to win those games. And that's why I don't love this offense yet. I'm on record saying I don't love this offense. But my honest opinion is, yes, I do think it comes down to a lack of discipline. But what are we doing? Like that doesn't come down to these guys just shot bad. And when you're out of rhythm, you're going to be out of rhythm on everything. You're going to be out of rhythm on your shooting. You're going to make bad turnovers because you're trying to force. All of that compiles itself. That doesn't mean that, hey, we need to get rid of the coach. We need to get rid of the front office. We need to trade everybody. Sometimes these games like this happen, and I get that people are freaking out. I get it completely, right? The Grizzlies are now 8-7 on the season, and so it's 15 games in. It hasn't looked good, but this whole season, nothing has been easy. Like, guys have been hurt every game. Every game we've got a player back, we've had a player get hurt in that exact same game. There's never been an easy part of the season. So I agree that you can point fingers at their coach, but when you shoot this bad, honestly, it is what it is. They're professionals and they're grown men. If you go into your job and your boss tells you what to do and you still don't do it, that's on you. That's just how it comes to. I get it. People are idiots. My group chat, probably the biggest idiots I've ever seen. It's just negativity. Just the negativity's got to stop. I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's the dumbest thing.
Well, and some guys are just pushed into roles they don't need to be. There were so many open shots tonight that guys didn't take.
Right.
At some point, it's hey, the shot's open, and it's okay, they try and drive one more time to get a better shot. And sometimes it's sometimes you wish other guys would do that, like Brandon in the corner. I'm hey, let's get a better shot than that. There's other times where it's Jake has a wing three. I'm dude, you're not Luke, you're not Dez, but let it fly, man. Because chances are you've only got 12 seconds left on the shot clock. You're not about to generate a shot that's better than that. Right? So sometimes guys have to be ready for that too. But, we'll come on here, and I know people would say you're a bigger Taylor defender than I am. I think you're pretty fair towards it. I'm certainly not a Taylor defender. But, dude, sometimes your quote-unquote all-star caliber shooting guard has to not go 1 for 10.
They sucked tonight.
Wide open shots, man.
Right.
And again, I'm not trashing Dez. He's going to be fine. He's going to be a big reason this team ends up winning a bunch of games this year. But dude, I think Dez would tell you that loss is on him tonight. It's not just on him.
No.
I bet he would tell you that because he played terrible. Again, I think that's probably the worst game of basketball Desmond Bane has played at any level since he started playing basketball seriously. That was brutal. And then
you can't shoot 39.8% from the field and expect to win.
Well, and Luke missed a big momentum three. And then, there was at least 8 points worth of layups just in the one half of basketball I saw from Memphis. Man, sometimes it just happens like that. It's just bad. Again, I have major doubts about Taylor's ability to let this team win at the highest level. But what are we blaming? What are we blaming him for? Especially I saw people teaming up with Draymond. Why are we teaming up with Draymond?
Oh my
against Taylor
God,
Jenkins?
that dude
Yo,
sucks.
that dude has for sure convinced a woman that it's her fault he cheated before. That's what I got from that video. Draymond has definitely convinced a woman it was her fault he cheated before.
Hey, real quick on Wayno. So I agree with this. So the performance, I used the boss analogy earlier. The performance still falls on the boss in the day in any workplace. Unfair or not, Jenkins finds himself gone if we can't turn this around. Completely fair, right? Because at the end of the day, if you can't get the team going in one direction, then that is honestly going to fall on you. But you know what happens? The coach comes down on you as a player and you get your S together. And if you don't, they're going to get rid of you and find somebody else that can't. That's the hard decisions as a boss, as a manager, as a coach. You have to make those hard decisions. If he can't make those hard decisions, then he can't be the coach of this team. Plain and simple. I think that's understood. And I agree with this. Wayno, I know we've been kind of going back and forth at it tonight. I just think it's so easy and lazy now to say it was Taylor Jenkins. The guys suck tonight. That's just straight it. It is what it is. They're going to have games like this. Like, you can't have that many turnovers, as Dangel's saying, and have that bad of a shooting night. But a lot of those compile each other. And so when you have a bad night, you're gonna try to do so much stuff, and it ends up looking worse than it really should. But all in all, I'm not really upset about it, per se. I think that the team for sure sucked. And I think that, honestly, if you look at the bench played well when they were in there. I think somebody was talking about playing Vince Williams. He came in. He had a little bit of the energy, a little bit of the moxie. And unfortunately, he goes down tonight, and it looks like it's not looking good. But hopefully he's a guy that can come back at some point. But looking at the bench just overall, there was only one guy on the bench that was a minus. Could you tell me who? And he's a -9. Everybody else on the bench was a plus number.
Hold on. I didn't see who started, so I got to go back to the game.
So it was BC, Jaren, Jalen Wells, Desmond Bain, and Scottie Pippen Jr.
Okay. I would say
Drew says Grizz Twitter is worse than Vols Twitter after a loss, and that's saying something. D'Angelo says
based what I saw, I was gonna say either Huff or Vince.
Huff was a +1. You said Vince was a +4.
Was it Jake?
Jake was a -9.
-9.
Jake played 28 minutes. Santi played 33. Santi was a +8. And these are, and I'm not giving too much credit to the plus minus. Honestly, it goes with a lot of the flows tonight. I think you can rely on a lot of the plus minus because of how well the team or how bad the team was playing. But Jake, I thought Jake played well. He didn't shoot well. He went 3 of 11, 0 of 2 from deep. I thought he made a lot of good plays. He had 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks. Like, if you get that from a bench guy, that is okay. He can't shoot that much. He's only shooting that much, in my opinion. One, he's on the floor way too many minutes, but everybody else sucked.
He was on the floor for that Brandon Dez moment. He was on the floor during that run. I remember that. Now, I got some numbers for you because all this 100%. If Taylor can't get this team to be a true Western Conference contender, title contender, playing for a West Finals, absolutely. I think this is his last year to get them there, as long as they're healthy. Now, I've got some numbers for you because everyone's like, can we turn this around? We're only 8-7. I got some numbers for you.
I can't wait.
3.
Do I need to write these down?
No, you don't have to, but you can. It would help for the exercise. Anybody that's in the chat, if you want to interact, class is in session. First number is 3.
Yes.
7. 8. 8. 9. 13.5.
How do you write the half? Is it 0.5 or
0.5? Okay. You're ruining this. Now, can you give me what you think those are? Yeah, 5 seconds. 3, 2.
Turnovers.
That is the numbers that respectively Jaren, Ja, Dez, Marcus, Luke, and Vince have missed this year. Add in a 15 for Gigi, and you're yet to have a single player play every game this year. You're 15 games in. If you told me that Ja Morant was going to miss 7 of your first 15 games, Jaren was going to miss 3, Dez would miss 8 of those 15, Marcus would miss 8 of those, and you told me we had a winning record, I'd say cool. And I'd be fine. It's been ugly, man. There's been ugly moments, but like keep in perspective, dude. We still already have the most games missed due to injury again this year, and we have a winning record.
Yeah.
So everybody take a bit of a breath.
All right, let's take a bit of a break and a breath. We're gonna get in Paris Sharkey here in about 5 seconds. We want to make sure we get in Sharkey as he's down with the crew. How's the mood? Why is the sky falling?
It didn't seem like that. Normally, Taylor Jenkins' press conferences after that type of performance is short answer, but we went about 7 minutes long. He was answering questions, like actually answering and like having real detailed answers. So yeah, it's not. It didn't have that type of vibe tonight, at least with him. I haven't gotten to the locker room yet.
Gotcha. So what'd you get out of the conversations from Taylor?
Just much of the same. Denver made adjustments about they said they were more physical than them tonight, obviously. And just team struggle. He said there was a question about Desmond Bain, because I was wondering was his injury impacting his performance. He was like he hasn't said anything. He just trying to knock the rust off what his feelings about with Desmond Bain. And yeah, it was just more so like just that matchup. Denver made adjustments from the last game, and Grizz didn't have a response for it. But also the Michael Cole at the last question did ask about the Draymond Green comments, and Taylor Jenkins took that rope, said, "See y'all tomorrow."
So anything going on with any news on Vince Williams?
Nope, no news. Ankle injury. We'll see what comes of it.
Okay.
Which is crazy. Is I'm the person who don't really react much to ankle injuries. So as a person who sprained my ankle a lot in my life, but that's a lot of players getting ankle injury on this team. Like every injury is an ankle. I feel like
it's crazy. So the shooting, the Grizzlies in the 2 cup games this season are this is from DeMichael Cole, 16 of 80, 20% just in those 2 games. Any thoughts on why the bad shooting?
Nothing. He said he thought they had good shots. They just missed. And now we're 0, not just this season, but last year we're 0-6 in season tournament games. So maybe we're just allergic to the courts and then in season tournament format because we suck at these guys.
And Nate, what do you have on this?
Man, as long as it's that trophy they're allergic to, not the other one, I'll be okay. But Parrish, I guess my biggest thing was what was Taylor's biggest takeaway? Obviously, we get the adjustments in the coach speak, and we get Dez trying to knock the rust off. Was there anything else that he attributed to the team losing tonight? Anything that the Grizzlies can make adjustments off, or just one of those nights?
It's just one of those nights. You know how Taylor is. It's coach speak through and through. A bunch of rambling words. But yeah, mainly coach speak. That's what you're gonna get from him. But hey, we'll see. Someone did. I don't know if this was news. I thought Joel. We play Philly tomorrow, and one of the questions guys actually said Joel Embiid would be out tomorrow. I didn't know. I thought he was back, so I didn't. That was news to me. He kind of asked the question, Taylor question, and phrase around it like, "Hey, you played against Denver without Jokic, so what adjustment you can make against a team that might be without their star big man tomorrow?" So, guess we'll see tomorrow. I didn't know Embiid would potentially be out.
I guess Maxey hurt his feelings.
Especially after the team meeting, he was definitely playing.
Not a good sign.
All right. Last question. We'll get you out of here. So a lot of the conversation has revolved around Taylor Jenkins. What's your thoughts on him? Like, is a game like this? Can you point the finger at Taylor Jenkins, or what are you attributing to this? Because we're now 8-7, 15 games in the season. We have people talking that they should have a much better record, maybe 2, maybe 3 losses on the season. So can you point the fingers at him and say, hey, this is what I see is not going right?
I'll say today, no. I think with me, when Taylor Jenkins is he don't make in-game adjustments. Now, I don't know what specific in-game adjustment he could have made tonight. but kind of like it was just another like, okay, Denver made an adjustment, but we didn't. So where's the adjustment there? He always like make adjustments too late for my liking, but your team shooting horrible. It's kind of hard when your team just shooting.
Right.
What y'all say? They shoot to 16 of 80 from 3
It's
in
bad.
2 tournament games. That's horrible shooting. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. Somebody did have a question though. Did you get any of that new merch? Do you like the new merch? Did you get any of the new merch? I said the Memphis Sounds merch.
Memphis Sounds. Now I haven't got any yet, man. I'm gonna get down there probably next week. So I'm off work. I get to the game earlier than I normally do instead of getting off work and getting to it like right before the game. So yeah, but yeah, everything I've seen, they look nice. So yeah, I plan to get something.
Gotcha. All right. Well, do you have anything else? If not, we're gonna let you get out of here so you can go run.
Not much. Hopefully build a performance tomorrow. They have their first 2 sets of back-to-backs this season. They lost kind of in blowout fashion on the first night, and they won the second game. So hopeful that they can get a win tomorrow for the 3rd time on the back-to-back.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Parrish, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for stopping by.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, appreciate it. All right, that is Parrish Sharkey stopping by and hanging out with us for a few minutes. So we appreciate that for sure. But anything else that you want to get into? I know there were some comments that came in. I know you had some thoughts. Which what do I do to do blame Daniel when the team loses, when the team give Nate all the credit? That is fine. I have a question though, Nate.
Is it, hey, have you bought any merch yet? Because the answer is no, by the way. If anyone wants to make a run to the Grizz Den for me, the thing I want is not for available online. So
do you know how many player of the games we've done this year?
1.
I think we've done 2.
2.
That is sad. Sad.
Yeah, it might be our fault. We might need to quit doing these. That might be the problem. We're probably the problem. I do have a couple of things before.
All right, let's go.
One, I was so mad at the end of that game. It was terrible basketball. It was disgusting. I hated it. Blame to go for everyone. Positives. That was the worst Desmond Bain game I've ever seen, and the Grizzlies still were right there at the end.
Yep.
Now imagine when he knocks the rest off and starts cooking, because Dez is incredible. Like, make no mistakes about it. Dez is incredible. Once he gets that rest off, it's going to be awesome. 2, Jaren had probably his worst performance of the year. The Nets box score in that one game is going to look worse.
Mm-hmm.
But this was the worst performance where he looked lost and just wasn't engaged. Still put up a bunch of numbers and contributed to the team tonight. And I also always want to mention the positive, which is Jaren has been dominant all year. He gets a break. Other thing, we talked about this the other day. Santi got a bunch of minutes, and look what happened. Now, you can say what chicken or the egg type situation. At the same time, I'm telling you, if you give this guy minutes, he has contributed every time he's gotten real minutes this year. Now, you can make the chicken or the egg argument, which is maybe he's not getting minutes because he's not contributing, but I just don't buy it. I think that dude has played really well every time he's gotten a chance to get into a rhythm. I'm big on Santi this year.
All right. So he's had double digits. Let's just go last 10 or so games. He's had double digits in all but one game when he's played, let's just say over 29 minutes. Anything under 29 minutes, he has not scored in double digits. Okay. But the thing is, like, I don't know how you can because he's not shot the ball very well. He's not shot at all. He's went 0-3 back-to-back games, 2 of 7, and then he was at 2 of 4, 0 of 5, 1 of 5, 0 of 6, 0 of 5. And he's still scoring double digits, but that's a lot of shots. And he's shooting 3-point percentage for the month of November. Take a guess. 3-point percentage. He went 4 of 7 tonight. 13.2%.
Yeah, I was going to cheat. I was looking at it.
13.2%. Like, I agree with that. I think Santi, when good, he is good. Nobody plays great defense on this team, so I don't want to point the fingers that way. But 13.2 is piss poor.
He shot the ball well tonight, and that's an outlier as of this month. It's not just about the shot, man. He gets to the bucket and he just plays sound and, quite frankly, aggressive basketball, which we need more guys that play aggressive basketball.
Yeah.
And so when he is going to get to the bucket, he's not going to back down. You might argue sometimes he needs to, like that. You might say that, but dude, everybody on this team, Santi's the only one that seems to show up mentally for it every game, right? And listen, if he doesn't have it one night, then I don't have any problem saying, hey, we're going to go with a different direction.
Yeah.
At the same time, I just think you got to give him the minutes to do it. And right now, Taylor's doing a lot of experimenting. Guys are coming back from injury. I get it to an extent. But this guy's going to give you hard minutes every night. And I think that he is playing really well with the personnel around him, which traditionally he's relied on Ja.
Yeah. Well,
right?
you're getting Bane back, right? So, and he's not been shooting well. So then you're giving more minutes to Bane, which everybody has been crying about.
Sure.
And then now he's, when he plays better, that's really what it comes down to. When you play better, you're going to get the nod for more minutes. The issue is, as a coach, you're trying to find anything that works when you're playing this bad.
I get it.
That's what it all comes down to.
I get it, and I agree. But it's the same thing we talked about last time. Eventually, you got to settle on these are going to be the guys. It's so hard to get into a rhythm when you show up not knowing what your minutes are going to be every night.
But how can you settle right now, currently? How do you settle on a certain number of guys?
Okay. You don't have to settle all around because your wing situation is crazy. I get the wing situation. Wing situation's nuts. Almost luckily for Taylor, you don't have that decision to make anymore because Vince is going to be out for weeks with that ankle injury. Let's look at these guys.
Love you, Wayno. But yeah, they should be giving you some ish. Talk to them.
Yes.
Talk to them.
All right. Here are the bigs you're working with. Brandon, Jaren. Let's say Edie, even though he's not playing right now. Edie, Huff, Santi. Out of those, what guys do you think you can fit into a rotation every night and aren't going to get played off the court?
Jaren.
Dude, Santi can fit.
Santi and Edie. I give you those three. Santi, Edie. Santi, Edie.
Edie could get played off the court.
Who?
But he's played really well, and I have not seen him get played off the court.
Who is this?
Edie.
Oh, yeah. Edie, Santi, and Jaren. Those three I would roll with every single night.
There you go. That's all I need. That's all I need.
The best version of Santi is when he is playing more at the three, right?
Sure.
But you can't have Santi as a big on this team. And you can't, honestly, because Jaren fouls out a lot, you can't really run Jaren out there so much as well. Like, you kind of need somebody next to Jaren. And that's why Huff, as Drew's saying, he isn't great, but that's why you're running him next to him. And that's why you're running BC. You can't run three bigs. You have to have another guy contributing to run those minutes a little bit more.
I'm just saying, you may say he plays best at the three. Santi is a big on this team, and he's one of three that I think should get minutes every night and can match up for you every single night. But I
agree.
Dude, we've both played sports at a high level. If you show up not knowing what your position is and where you stand on the team, how hard is it to perform? And there's certain guys that right now just shouldn't have to ask that question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough when you're sitting there. And listen, if I'm Santi and I'm sitting there watching Brandon just get cooked on defense, and I've been saying Brandon's been playing really well lately. But if you're just watching these guys just get minutes and you're like, dude, what's happening? I know I can play better than these guys. Like, it's way harder to perform. Yeah. It just is. And again, all this can get settled in. We're 15 games in. The injury situation's been nuts. But at a certain point, you got to settle in.
Yeah.
And you can't bail. You can't just bail on guys at the first sign of them not playing well.
I agree.
If they're your guys, if it's like Jake, then yeah, you can bail, right? If it's Conchar, you can bail. Which, by the way, I did see some Conchar hating here tonight, and I'm like, yo, that run for the Grizzlies happened when he came in. He couldn't hit a three to save his life, by God, but also that run happened. He was there. Jitty things were happening.
I wore it just out of spite. Heaven Celtic Genshin. I don't know if you know this. I know you're talking about practice. NBA players do not practice during the regular season. Like, maybe if they have 3 days off, they might do a practice, but these are literally one-on-one shoot-arounds. They're getting their individual, I guess, games up to par. Like they're not doing a 5-on-5 scrimmage. They're not doing that. I promise you. And so I don't think that they will. But I saw Rusty was there talking about load management. I think load management has been the issue. Honestly, I think it's kind of figuring its stuff out. The problem is it hasn't been the Grizzlies that have been load managed, in my opinion. It's just they have just have so much bad luck. And so that's what the biggest thing is. Yes, sir.
I have something to contribute to this. So
can't wait.
I agree. I hate load management. I think it's stupid. I don't think it's worked at all. I think these guys get paid to play basketball and like, dude, go play basketball. And I think it's better. You're better off playing basketball. You get in better shape and your body can take the load better. I also want to get this out of the way too. A lot of these have been freak injuries, like landing on players' feet, things like that. Truly, like, I think we do have to scapegoat the training staff just for sanity's sake. I just want to get it out there. Like, while I do that this year, I know it's not actually their fault when guys land on other guys' ankles. So I want to get out of the way. Now that we got the serious part out of there, I think we have to make a difficult decision.
I think FedEx Forum?
No.
Oh. Move it to my suggestion this whole time.
You're never going to listen. This takes
demolish the Wolf Chase Galleria and put FedEx Forum there.
No. This takes deep chess, not checkers thinking for this. And it's not good. It's hard to have a mind that works this way. It's going to be honest. It's a curse and a blessing. Mainly a curse. We pissed off the basketball gods at some point. I don't know if it was the Fine in the West talk. I don't know if it was telling LeBron, nobody's scared of them big-ass feet. I don't know what it was. We pissed the basketball gods off. And the only solution is to offer up a worthy sacrifice. I think we have to sacrifice Yuki to the basketball gods.
Yuki!
He's the only one pure and joyful enough. The only one that can be beloved enough to atone for the sins of the Memphis Grizzlies. I think we might have to sacrifice Yuki to the basketball gods to atone for our sins. I hate it, dude. He's like, that's like the worst thing I could ever imagine. But it's like, do you want a chip or not? I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say. Like,
what question?
He gets a statue.
Would he willingly do it?
I think he might.
I think he might too. That's the thing. I think he really might.
It has to be him.
It has to be.
It has to be someone who could be who we could not be ourselves.
Drew said, I would sacrifice Yuki so fast. This might be it.
Oh, we had to sacrifice Yuki. Jokes, people, jokes. But also getting back to it, we had to sacrifice Yuki. It's the only way. Everyone will be healthy within 2 weeks if we sacrifice Yuki.
Quick question.
It's my theory.
Can we dress up Jacob Gilliard like Yuki and somehow get it to still work?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's atone for our sins against the basketball gods by trying to deceive them. This is why you got to leave the curse of these types of minds.
Take him to the top of the pyramid. I love this so much.
All jokes, FBI agents, we love Yuki. We would never try to sacrifice Yuki.
I love it. Draymond on the other hand.
Draymond, I'm telling you, man, that was like every frat guy I've ever heard trying to gaslight his girlfriend he just cheated on. He's listening to Draymond on that podcast. Yeah. It was hilarious listening to that.
All right, we'll get into more of the show in a second, but it's time. Let's go ahead and get into some Grizz trivia. Now that Yuki is officially thrown into the fire, I have a simple question for you, Nate.
No, it's not simple. It's never simple.
The Grizzlies have now been in a season and a half so far of NBA Cup games. In 6 games, do you know their Cup record?
Are they 0-6?
I don't know. Are they?
I think they are. They're either 0-6 or 1-5.
They are 0-6
Yeah,
in
it's bad.
NBA Cup games. It's been bad. I believe we are the only team to not win an NBA Cup game so far. I believe so.
Dilly.
I thought that'd be funny. A very short and sweet Grizz trivia today. I thought it would be a good time to kind of bring that up because it has been terrible, very bad.
Hate it.
Yeah,
I hate it. Every time I see that ugly ass cord, I get so like, oh, this is not going to go well.
All right, well let's go ahead and pivot from here, and we're going to do a little bit of the look ahead. Now we do have a good number. Thank you as always. This is the Grizz 901 post game show. We are live after each and every game, and we come and kind of hang out with you during the weekdays. The weekends we kind of leave it to our family because obviously family always comes first. But we want to make sure we kind of have time for that, and so it's just going to be during the week as we always do. But we have always done the kind of look ahead to the next games. But this year, if this is your first time, this is always a look ahead that Ryan helps us out. And it's kind of been very insightful. So it's helped me. I hope it helps you.
Looking ahead to the Wednesday night matchup against the lowly Philadelphia 76ers, the Grizzlies are coming off a back-to-back after playing the Denver Nuggets last night. Good thing for the Grizzlies is that they get a Philadelphia 76ers team who just is flat out bad right now. They are 2-11 on the season. Joel Embiid and Paul George have been back for, I believe, 3 games so far. Together, 0-3. And averaging about 36.7 points combined when they play together. In two-man lineups, they're playing about 21 minutes a game together right now, averaging under 40 points between both of them, which is an anomaly. We're used to seeing Embiid close to almost 30 and Paul George almost at 25 to 27. So let's hope this play kind of continues for the Grizzlies. Let's keep the Philadelphia 76ers down and depressed. Because we know Paul George and Embiid can go off, but they look rusty. Embiid looks out of shape. So let's see if the Grizzlies can take advantage of that while the 76ers are still trying to figure things out and get an easy home win here. Because besides these two underperforming so far in their return, Philadelphia 76ers team in general is not a high-scoring team. This team is dead last in the NBA in scoring total points per game. I believe it's about 103 points per game. So we know who the role players are. Their lone bright spot so far has been Jared McCain, the rookie from Duke. Look, Cody Martin, Kelly Oubre Jr., we know that they can get loose from 3 if we leave them wide open. Paul George has been more passive in his return back to play, so look for Paul George to pass the ball a lot. But Paul also has had really nice games against the Grizzlies. So let's see if Paul George and Joel Embiid get back to being a more aggressive, assertive, trying to impose their will on offense. If not, the Grizzlies hopefully come out of this with a rather easy win on a back-to-back night.
A rather easy win, as Ryan says. Thoughts on the Philadelphia 76ers and the Grizzlies kind of right now? What's going on with them?
I know. Well, one, I couldn't even tell you what's going on with them. It makes no sense. Now, missing Maxey and Embiid is super tough for that team, especially once you spend all that money on Paul George, right? There's just not much left to be able to distribute, right? You can't really get many players around them. This might be an unpopular statement. Paul George is one of my least favorite players to watch play basketball.
Really?
In the entire association. I hate it. Unethical basketball. I watched him and James Harden go head-to-head the other night, and I was like, this is one of the most unethical matchups I've ever seen in my life. Both of them are, let's get this out, incredible basketball players. Like, amazing, unbelievable, top-tier talents. Paul George has never gone towards the basket in his life without throwing out a karate chop elbow into somebody's ribs. Watch him play. Watch it. Every time he goes, it doesn't matter where he decides to stop and do his pull-up jumper. This happens every single time. And it gets called once a month and happens 20 times a game. It drives me nuts to watch it. Again, unbelievably skilled player. I can't watch him ever since I noticed it. It drives me absolutely insane to watch it happen. But in general, the Grizzlies, I think, need to show up and win this game. You got a team on their heels. You should come out ready to play. And this is the Taylor Jenkins criticism. Is your team going to show up ready to play or not? Are they going to show up flat again or not?
Yeah.
They need to show up ready to come out and win the game.
And the reason I don't understand the being flat or playing bad part, because that's going to happen, right? This isn't like they just played a game flat and bad the game before, and then now this one they came in. No, like literally they smoked on Sunday Denver. And the night it was bad, right? We all agree. But it wasn't like a carryover, like game to game, like he can't get his guys to play and they look like they're not disciplined.
Come on, we're gonna pretend that we've never seen them have a disappointing performance.
No. I agree. But I like honestly, I'm saying this season, I haven't seen that consistency this year. We're like, hey, they're just not playing well enough. I feel like they've given a lot of good effort. They're shooting terribly from the entire season, personally.
Sometimes, but I do think it's been a trend with this team that they don't necessarily respond after a flat game either. But you should be able to respond. And listen, man, when they lost to the Bulls and turn around and lost to the Nets too, that was not a good effort against the Nets.
I agree. Yeah, you're right.
And that has happened quite a bit with this core. So I would expect them to come back firing, right? If they were as aggressive this entire game as they were in the fourth quarter, game goes a lot different.
Exactly.
Put together a full 48 of that. And if you get tired legs at the end and you just can't make enough shots to win, that's a completely different story than you didn't show up ready to take it to them.
Yep. So, I think they got punched in the mouth. In Denver, I don't know if I know you didn't watch that first quarter. Denver literally was just throwing haymakers in the very beginning. The energy, and that's what I'm saying. No matter what you do to coach, when you come out and you're like you're ready, you're there, and then the other team just like comes out like a rocket, you're just like, holy F. Hold on a second. I need to catch my breath. And honestly, I think it was 11-2 to start the game. Denver came out hot and they were flying up and down the court. And at that point, they kept the momentum the entire game, which sucks because you really need somebody to kind of throw a wrench in their the wheels a little bit and kind of stop them and slow them down. We didn't have that tonight. We didn't have anybody to take it at them and to change a little of the momentum, get the crowd into it. Maybe we should have held up Yuki for the crowd and got them into it.
Just held him up like Simba. Come on, man. No, but point number one is that's how the Grizzlies should come out, right? Like you should come out like a rocket. Like that's what you want to see. And if you're a team that you want to say you're a veteran team and you're a team that wants to play for something, you should be able to do that. That should not be something that like you're possibly not capable of doing. Yeah. Right. So you need to do that. Dude, sometimes like I want to see both teams come out like rockets. Like it's so hard to ask for that in the NBA. It's like, oh, they play 82 games. I'm like, yeah, God forbid you want to win every time you show up, So sometimes it's like, hey, I want to see the Grizzlies respond like that too. You know that video of dude with the sick mustache and the other dude, and they kind of like lock heads and just start like punching each other like this in that boxing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to see that in NBA form.
Yep.
And it does happen every once in a while. You get that, and it's amazing. But it'd be awesome if it happened night in and night out. Maybe I'm asking for too much.
Well, there was a team tonight that was 15-0, and they went into a game, and they're the number one first quarter scoring team.
Not tonight.
And tonight they scored 20 points in the first quarter. And at that point, they kept fighting back and back. And they eventually, caught up close enough to make it a game, like similar to what the Grizzlies did tonight. The Grizzlies, who are the third highest scoring first quarter team, scored 24 points tonight. Behind the eight ball, kind of kept catching up, didn't have the mojo. Very much similar games. And so I want people to understand a team that's 15-0 just played the exact same way the Grizzlies. They didn't shoot as bad, right? It wasn't the exact same. Yeah, fire Kenny Atkinson. Like they didn't play exactly the same. I didn't watch all of that game. They shot better than the Grizzlies did, but they still looked a little out of it. They were kind of being honestly punched a little bit in the nose throughout the entire game. And so it is what it is. I'm just trying to explain, like, these are professionals. This happens. It's just kind of, it's weird that people think the way they do. But I have a question, or I have something on here. Marcus Smart.
I got no idea.
A theory that he's actually not sick and being protected for a trade. I think it's too early for a trade.
I got no idea. I like the way you're thinking, Drew.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. The only issue is, so my opinion is, unless it's just a fail-safe trade, something we know that, hey, this is fire, perfect, going to happen, I think December 15th is a day that we want to get past, because then anybody that signed new deals is available.
Where does Lamar Stevens play? Who's he playing for?
Don't know if he does.
Goon brought that up. He said Lamar Stevens, and I was like, I thought about that on Sunday, actually. I was like, whatever happened to that dude? I liked him a lot. So just flew under the radar. They didn't re-sign him. Anyways, we don't have to figure it out now. I thought
Motor City Cruise, their G League. Don't say Detroit Pistons. He's in their G League. He is not even. Yeah,
that dude's too good to be in the G League. That dude should be on an NBA roster.
Yeah, but then you gotta let go of Huff.
Oh, don't say that. Can we get rid of Jitty instead?
You can, but it's a lot of money. A lot of money.
We can figure that out.
But honestly, tonight sucked. Tonight did suck. I think that this team will be fine going forward. I'm not completely flying off the end right now. I know a lot of people are. A lot of people are blaming, like, instant coach blame, and it's laughable at this point. I'm going to challenge everybody. Enjoy a team that you literally follow and think about on a consistent basis. I know it can be frustrating. I know it's one of the hardest things to do is enjoy it when your team sucks. But let me just explain something to you. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. My team sucks. Okay? We are not good. Like, I said that, and literally, like, Nate leaves the show. Like, that's how bad the Cowboys are. But I love the Grizzlies. I love the city of Memphis. We suck right now. And just like AC Surreal saying is, like, that is where I would be freaking out, because your season is pretty much done. And my season last year with the Grizzlies felt like this. It felt like it was done from the very beginning, because the Philadelphia 76ers, they're going through it. But I just think that I'm going to embrace the positivity of, oh my God, I'm going to embrace the positivity of what I enjoy about the Grizzlies. You really only have to win 12 more games than you lose to really be in the middle of the playoffs, especially in the Western Conference. You only need to win 12 more than you lose. The Grizzlies have won one more than they've lost this year. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at. Speaking of merchandise, you have Detroit. Drew's now, he's second time. I tried to ignore it the first time. My new merch. So this is a new merch hat. This is my new DG logo. This is my brand, trying to help my betting style brand. And so you know what? Why not? Why not? Try to get it going, make some monies. But yeah. I want to enjoy, in all honesty, I want to enjoy this team.
One pride. Juggernaut. So for everyone's knowledge, I did bandwagon the Lions, but I bandwagoned them while I was watching Hard Knocks. So I bandwagoned at a time where they still sucked, according to everyone. So I took over at like the absolute perfect time. But I also want to let everyone know, like, and we talked about this at the very beginning of the season too. So much of this is exactly what you were saying. You're spot on. Last year was so terrible.
It was so bad.
That this is like a continuation of last year. Right. And I want everyone to remember, like, we have a winning record right now.
Right.
Despite the fact we're leading I think the fact that we're missing so many games to injury makes people just like connect those dots so much. And like, we have a winning record. We're right in the mix of everything. We're going to be getting guys back. Like, everything is perfectly fine, right? If we were like if you're the Sixers and you're 2-11, or you're the Bucks and you're like however many games under 500, vastly different story than being 8-7, missing all these games to injury.
Yeah.
So the games like tonight, I'm not going to be Daniel. If you enjoyed watching the game tonight, I think you need therapy. That was disgusting. I hated it.
I don't know. I'm not saying you have to enjoy it.
In general, you're right.
like it sucked, but like I'm not going to lose my mind over that type of game because like I don't see anything that out there is like, hey, this team is going down the drain. Like they suck. Tonight, they sucked. But that doesn't that this game could be gone by tomorrow night. We're on here doing our third player of the game because we finally won an effing game. Like that could be happening. We might beat the 76ers by 20 plus points, and you all might love every single rotation, and we might have Bane and Jaren play 48 minutes. That all could happen. I don't know. But my God, like I just want to enjoy it as much as I can. I hate the negativity. I'm trying to kind of pull myself away from it because one, I have too much going on in my life that's good that I want to have something negative kind of take that over. So I'm going to look at the positive as always. And I can be Dr. Phil if you need me to be Dr. Phil. My problem is I always look at the positive side of things because you know what? It's never negative until it's over. And once it's over, it sucked. That sucked, yes. But as long as we have a chance, as long as you're telling me there's a chance, I'm good. I'll be positive.
I'm with you, but also you're more than welcome to lose your mind for about 5 to 20 minutes after each bad game.
Oh, I'm down with that. I'm down with that. I'm down with that.
Sometimes you got to lose it for just a minute, but then you come back down to earth and realize the sky's still blue and life moves on. So I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Keep everything in perspective. I'm also just going to be like, yeah, I get really mad for about 5 minutes after gross games like that, and that's okay.
Well, and Wayno was bringing this up earlier. We need, I can't remember, the overreact where the chat and we just lose our minds for 5 minutes. I am down with that. Like, get it off your chest because what happens then is you get everything out and you're pissed off, and then you can talk through the things. And I think that's what this show tries to do a good job of is being honest. But we allow ourselves to overreact. We allow ourselves to get pissed off. We allow ourselves to celebrate. Over celebrate, I guess. I enjoy going both ways, right? But I always try to make sure in the end we always get back to where we should be, and where that is honestly enjoying each other, enjoying the season, and I think that's kind of where we are tonight, where we always are. In my opinion, I can enjoy you.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
You're looking at me, it was weird. But anything else you got tonight? Wrap a bow on this game.
Nope. Time to move on. If anyone can name me what this is from, what the line of that was from, I'll just give you a crisp air high five. That's it. You got until Daniel ends the show to know what that's from when a guy goes.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no clue, but I salute you. We can crown the most absurd comment. That's what Wayno wants to do. And then King Big says Goon ain't gonna follow them rules.
Yeah, that's true.
And I didn't pull up any of the Goon stuff tonight just because it really wasn't worth it. But we love you, Goon. We love honestly all the OGs. It's always a good time. But this is so much fun. I enjoy doing this, and that's kind of half of it. I don't want the joy taken away because I really do enjoy this. I enjoy spending time with you and the rest of everybody else that kind of comes through here. But that's it, man. It's been a fun night as always. And I was able to cash a lot of tickets tonight. It was fun on my own, but we were able to honestly see a game. We saw the Grizzlies fight, which is always good for them when they can actually fight back and it's not just a complete blowout. But that's all we have. Hope everybody has a great night. The Grizzlies do go down 122 to 110 to the Nuggets, but we will continue on. We'll be back here tomorrow night. Nate is here with me again. Yep, you're still here with me. It's not you're missing. I think it's next Monday.
I'm out next Monday for a very important event. By the way, the line was thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Nobody got it.
Nope.
If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, just look up thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Make sure it's not taking you to a side I wouldn't let your kids onto, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It is PG.
We don't trust you.
I thought about that at the end, and I was like, just make sure it's a family-friendly website.
We don't trust you. Well, thank you for everybody for joining us. This is Grizz 901, the live post-game show immediately after the Memphis Grizzlies post-game show. I'm Daniel. That's Nate. We'll be back here tomorrow night. Hopefully a win over those 76ers. We'll see you all then. Be nice and tell your friends.